Yo, Bo, welcome to another episode of In the Life of MightyFan. This USA 250th edition. I guess we should call it the 4th of July edition for 2026. Of course, the country celebrating the 250th birthday and a very special day. Obviously, all around the country, but particularly here in Philly, obviously, where it was, of course, the birthplace of our country and um, very exciting. There's been so much going on in town with the World Cup, with different events. Tonight there's going to be a huge, long concert on the Parkway and a big fireworks show, which I will not be attending. That's for the diehards because it is super hot. We are in the midst of a big heat wave, over 100 degrees heat index every day for the past 2-3 days. And I think today should be one of the last of the real hot days. I think starting tomorrow, it's going to not be it's still going to be hot. It's still going to be hot and humid, but not as hot and humid. But I'm not a fan of that kind of weather. I'm just waiting for the fall weather, to be honest. That's my preferred weather of the year, fall or the spring. Early spring, mid spring. Once we get into late spring, then it gets hot and humid. So, yeah, not a huge fan of it. But you know what is what is. Tried to stay in as best I can. I do go out, to run some errands or also, to water the plants out there. Um, but aside from that, I've just kind of been staying in the AC, watching movies, watching shows, whatever. There is the watch on TV and whatnot and streaming stations and such like that. So I'm just going to watch all the festivities on TV tonight, local TV, carrying it as they always do, and they do a good job doing that. So looking forward to that. ABC, which I have on right now, has like this all day long, America celebrates 250. They're going like coast to coast with different stories and journal pieces and the like. So, it's kind of interesting to see, some of that. But I hope everything's going well for all of you. I got my Fox patriotic tank on here with the USA, cap. So, for the World Baseball Classic. But just, threw it on for the vid. But at any rate, yeah, I mean, I know I've been MIA here from for YouTube for quite some time. I think the last video I made was when Slim was here. Goodness, over 3 weeks ago, and just been real busy with stuff for the house stuff. Just kind of running around. Slim's birthday was last week, so I went over to Maryland, and we celebrated his birthday, his 50th. Birthday, the big 50 for Big Slim, and but Slim, take heart. You're 200 years younger than America, so they take some condolence in that. But we had a good time. Just kind of palled around, went around different places, and plenty of food, plenty of good time, some laughs, and with him and Dewey, and we had a good time. So. For his birthday, it's a tradition now. It's become a tradition. For his birthday and my birthday, we both go to we make our way over to Shady Maple, which is a huge buffet out in Lancaster County, in PA, in Amish country, and we're out there, and we go, and we've done this the past couple of years now, because if it's your birthday, you get in for free. You just have to show proof of ID, and so we just go there and just gorgeathon, that's what it is. Plates of food, but all really good. I just, it's something we look forward to. And again, we kind of made this a tradition. A few years ago, we went with Mark M, and yeah, we kind of came up with that plan. It happened to be Slim's birthday, and we just kind of did it on a whim. We came up with it that morning. Mark and I were over at Slim's, and we just decided to do it. And it happened to be his birthday. And while we were in line waiting to get in, Mark mentioned, "Oh, but by the way, Slim, you get in for free because it's your birthday." And we're all like, "Oh, wow." So for whatever reason, it started with that. And last year, Slim and I went for our birthdays, and this year we went for Slim's. We'll go for my birthday. later in August again, and it's just become like a tradition, and it's just one of those kind of fun things to do. So, good food, good time. It's a bit of a drive, but it's worth it, for sure. And so that's become kind of our little birthday tradition. So that continued last week, and it will continue again, all things considered, in later in August for mine. So, at any rate, so there was that, and just a lot of stuff, just kind of getting through the normal grinds, daily grinds of work and what have you, and things have been going pretty good though. Pickups have been there. I just haven't had a chance to share anything. I have some backlog to get through, so. Including the hats. In this video, we have a bunch of hats, stuff that I've picked up over the past couple months. Just haven't gotten around to sharing. Some things are somewhat recent, and I do have an unboxing, because this came in the mail today, which was very unexpected. A, because it's a holiday. B, because I just bought it yesterday off Fanatics, and I did not. I didn't see that it was next day's mail. It didn't show that it actually had the 10th as the potential delivery date, which was, kind of normal. But I guess, I don't know. It came today, maybe because it's a local team. I have no idea. I didn't pay any extra for the shipping or anything. So it was a big surprise to me when I got the little notification on my phone earlier today that your item will be delivered today. I'm like, really? And then sure enough, it got delivered. So shout out to Fanatics for that. But we'll get there. Save that one for the end. Got some more stuff here. All hats, all from various locations. And let's get right into it. So this one was actually purchased in Maryland last week. We went to a local mall there, and there was a Lids. Obviously, it's part of the reason why we went in there. Just kind of wanted to see what they had. Just kind of looking around, and this was on the in their clearance area of that store, and it's from I think these came out last year. So these are like the classic. They made these new eras. These are Lids exclusives. They put out this set of just classic hats, like hats that you would have found back in the 90s, back in the day. Wool, good gray under, whole kit and caboodle with them. If you notice, the front of the crown is a bit raised, but the logo has that kind of flat logo. That's how it was made back in the day. The flat batterman on the back, again, an ode to how the fitted hats were made back in the day. And I went with the White Sox. It was the only one they had. And just, you can never go wrong with the plain White Sox hat. For those of you, if you know, back in the day in hip-hop, the old 90s, hip-hop era, which I grew up with, you would see this hat quite often. So, I figured, obviously I have a lot of White Sox jerseys, so, nice to have a classic-looking White Sox hat to go with those classic jerseys. So, picked that up, and it was on discount, and also I got a little extra because of my Lids membership, so premium membership. So there you go. Nice addition there. Good gray under again, the white gut and everything. But like I said, they made these to look like we would have purchased them back in the day, back in the 90s or what have you. So that's the only one I ever got from that set. I kind of wanted to get some of the others, and I just either couldn't find them or just never picked them up. Like the Expos, I would have liked to have gotten. Never could find the Expos. I haven't dug. I think I do have one actually. Now that I'm thinking about on my watch list on eBay, but I have yet to pull the trigger. Obviously, will it happen? We'll see. But other than that, there's that. These next two were purchased from the New Era. Didn't realize it had this on there. It's actually on the front to protect the front logo, but it doesn't need to be on there. Anyhow, this is we're live. This is from the New York Clubhouse store, which fell off the table for some reason. That was kind of weird because I put it in a spot where I didn't think it would fall. Anyhow, we're having fun. But no, so this was a New Era ballpark. The New Era clubhouse store at the ballpark, and of course the Phillies ballpark is in Bank Park. So this is a New Era clubhouse store exclusive for the ballpark for Phillies games, and it's called the John Kruk. So this hat. I don't know if John had a hand in designing it or what, but it's represents John. So you have the Phillies logo on the front, patriotic. That's where the little plastic thingy was over, clear plastic. I didn't even know it was on there until I'm looking. I'm like, what the heck is that? No, okay, I gotta peel that off. So there's the Phillies logo with the stars. Obviously, a little patriotic, John, patriotic person. So there it is for John. And 1993. So yeah, the Crucker was part of that 93 Macho Row Phillies team that went to the World Series and lost to Toronto. But it was, such a surprise for them to make that run that season out of nowhere. And they went all the way to the World Series and lost to Toronto on the Joe Carter home run, we all know. But still, it was an accomplishment for the Phillies for sure. And that team will forever be loved in this town. And John Kruk was a big part of it, and he's still a big part with the organization. He does the color commentary for a decent amount of the Phillies games on TV. So certainly a character as he always has been. And this hat, again, called the Kruk, the Crucker. I forget it was helped designed by him or whatnot, but obviously he's worn this hat for quite a few games. He did a signing when this hat came out, which I didn't go to because I had work, but he did a signing when this came out where you could kind of meet and greet and at the clubhouse store at the time. But I picked it up, like I said, at the last game I went to a few weeks ago. So snapback, there's all the particulars. I really like it. I think it's sharp. So, when I wear my Kruk jersey or any of my 93 jerseys, this could go with it. So, for sure. And then this one is a All-Star exclusive. I know New Era had it, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Fanatics has this, and some other places perhaps online. But I got this at the clubhouse store because it was available right where I can grab it. So there it is, the John. Of course, the great Philly word, John. And there is the hat right there in the old Phillies colorway. And it's also got, if you notice, the chain stitching. So it's supposed to look like, the Phillies, chain stitching of the time with the Phillies fat P back then. And there it is. And the All-Star logo on the side, the All-Star 2026, which, of course, is in a couple weeks. I will not be going to the game. I'm just going to be watching at home. But I think it's awesome. The game's going to be here. There's so many great things happening in Philly this year, obviously for the nation's 250th, but also the All-Star game and all the events that go with that. And there's been a lot of merch put out, particularly hats, like tons of All-Star hats for the Phillies. It's pretty crazy. And I would imagine every city gets that every year, but, being that it's Philly, we're seeing it firsthand at different locations like I said, the ballpark store, Rally House, Lids, all these different spots that you buy hats, tons of different All-Star designs, and they've really gone crazy, with all these different designs. And there's still a few out there that I wouldn't mind getting over time, but it's pretty crazy what's been out so far. Next up, speaking of the 4th of July, that's today. So we got the Stars and Stripes hat for the 4th of July that all teams will be wearing today. Some teams, I think, will be wearing them throughout the weekend. I guess it just depends, but certainly today they'll be wearing them. The Phillies are in Kansas City, and I did get the jersey too. I did not bring it down. I forgot to bring it down. That's on me. That's a oopsie on my part. But I did get the Kyle Schwarber jersey. I got the hat and jersey off of Fanatics when they became available because I know those kind of things sell out really quick. So as soon as I saw it was available, I grabbed it. And I do think that they still have the jersey at the ballpark store and the hat too. And I know the hat, I believe you can still get around Lids or, Rally House, NewEra.com, Fanatics. I think you could still get this hat. Now this is the Flex Fit version, and I just like the Flex Fits. It's just most comfortable on my head. They do have the regular 5950s, of course, available. They also have snapbacks available in it, but I went with the Flex Fit because that's the kind. And I love to wear the 5950s or snaps. I'm wearing a snap right now. But, the the 3930s are probably the most comfortable on my head. So those are the ones I usually tend to get. If it's a set, like if you can get different variety, I usually go with the 3930 just because it's the most comfortable on me. The brim's already, curved the way I like it. It's just, to me, it feels the best on me. So I got to go with comfort there. And each hat will have the established 1776 for the nation, and it has the flag on the inside. It also has the USA 250, which I think is a nice touch. The Batterman on the back. The team logo has the stars and stripes and the gold trim around it. It also has the stars and stripes, kind of little, stripe going around the front, just over the bill. Each hat's going to be cream with the red brim or blue brim in some cases, I believe, and the New Era flag on the side. So the eyelids will be red or blue depending on the brim color, and the squatchy will be red or blue depending on the brim color as well. But for the Phillies, it's red. So there you go. Up next, this one I just grabbed yesterday at Rally House. I couldn't let this one go. The Philly Fanatic 2026 All-Star hat in Philly Fanatic green right there. Right there he is swinging the bat right on the front. You got the All-Star Game logo there, ASG 2026 with the Batterman. And then on the back, you have different versions of the Fanatic as well, which is kind of what made this hat for me even more. So you have 3 different images of the Fanatic on there. You got the Phillies on the back. New Era. This is a snap as we see, but still very cool. They did a lot of Fanatic, and it's not a surprise, but they did a lot of Fanatic-centric hats and different stuff for the All-Star Game, because when you think of the Phillies, yeah, I mean, you think of the Fanatic. So, of course, the Fanatic, being the Fanatic, is on a lot of All-Star merch, which is very cool. So there you go. And the under has the Phillies pinstripes for the home jersey, which is cool. Nice little touch as well. Just a lot going on in this hat, and that's what drew me to it, like moths to a flame. Another one here. This was from this was a Lids HD pickup. I had to think for a second there, because it was either going to be Lids HD or Toppers USA. And the light bulb finally went on that this was Lids HD. So this was their kind of patriotic MLB hats. They did a pinwheel, so of course, me, pinwheel power. There it is, good green under with the white gut. Phillies logo, again, like it was on the official New Era on-field design hat. It's got the stars and stripes with gold. It's also got the stars going here, and you have the navy blue, red and white pinwheel going around. You also have the USA 250 on the side. Yeah, celebrating America's 250th right there with the Batterman. Very cool, nice touch on this one as well. The Batterman on the back. I believe that's a flat Batterman. And yeah, this hat definitely pops. It definitely does. So went ahead and grabbed this one when this became available some weeks ago, I believe, from Lids HD. And last but certainly not last, because we do have the unboxing, but this nice little clip here, this is what I picked up from, speaking of today, so you got the 250th, right? America's 250th. So these hats are based off of the 200th, the bicentennial, but that season the National League celebrated their centennial, which is their 100th anniversary. The nation celebrated their bicentennial, their 200th anniversary. And so it was a big year for baseball. And, Over the years, including this year, obviously there's been a ton of jerseys coming out from 1976, right? Mitchell and Ness. Now they made jerseys from 1976 for a number of years, but this year they made even more. So they put out a little more variety because it is the 50th anniversary of the bicentennial of the centennial, the 100th anniversary of the National League, but also the bicentennial, and all teams in the National League wore that logo, wore that patch for the National League Centennial on the one side, and the Phillies and some other teams in baseball wore a patch, for 1970 for the bicentennial on the other side. The Phillies wore the Liberty Bell 76, which the Eagles also wore that season on field at the Vet. Other teams kind of celebrate with their own city or whatnot. The A's wore a Liberty Bell 76 bicentennial logo as well, because part of their history was in Philadelphia, of course. They started as the Philadelphia A's. I know, like, Cleveland wore like a Cleveland, patch, bicentennial patch. Different teams did different things, but all National League teams wore the centennial patch, and I have a decent amount of jerseys for that. And some of them, which I didn't have, came out this year by Mitchell and Ness, and I was able to grab one of them, which I didn't bring down. But you'll see it in the future vid. But I have had quite a few Phillies 1976 jerseys in the collection. And so when Lids, and this was a Lids exclusive, they put these out online. It was a Lids HD. They put out the full set. They also had in-store, which I think you can still find here and there. But obviously your store is going to have different, selection. It's not going to have all of them. So when this set hit Lids HD, I most of these I got on Lids HD. I just grabbed them because I knew jersey. I have this. I need that hat for it. And there were still some left that I still kind of wished I grabbed, but even though I don't have the jersey for them because the hat pops. But you can't get everything, right? The old saying is. I did get a hat here I don't have a jersey for, but just I like the hat, so I grabbed it. The others, I have jerseys for them. So, that there was a no-brainer there. So the Phillies one I actually found in-store at a Lids. Before the set came out on Lids HD, they started filtering into the Lids stores. So this one I found at, while I was out and about one day at a Lids store before the drop hit the Lids HD site. So we got the maroon, and each hat is meant to look like a hat from 1976. So they have all the old school look to them, as they would have all have the good green under, the white gut, but you have the old logos, right? So you do have, now obviously in 1976 they didn't wear the Batterman, but it's for copyright reasons they have to put it on there, so they did. But you'll notice the Centennial, now the teams didn't wear it on the hat that year, they wore it on the jersey. But there it is. There's the patch that you see on all the jerseys from the National League in 1976 when they celebrated the National League's 100th anniversary, on the nation's 200th anniversary, and now we're 250. So 50 years ago, that was the logo that was on all the National League sleeves, including the Phillies. So I got the hat for the Phillies, big fat P on the front, and the white squatchy. I gave you all the other particulars, but there's the Phillies. And again, this one and the New Era flag is also tonal, so that's kind of cool. It kind of blends right in. So again, this one was purchased in store, as well as this one. I got both of these the same day. And again, I didn't have a jersey for this. Mitchell and Ness has never made a 1976 jersey for this team, so there is no jersey for this team with the logo on the sleeve. But it's the Montreal Expos, and you just can never go wrong with a good old Expos hat. So there's the hat. There's the logo on the side. Again, I don't have a jersey per se for 76, but I can wear it. I can wear it with other jerseys, even though the year might not match up. I can still wear it because it looks pretty good, and it will go with the Expos jerseys from that kind of era, 70s into the 80s. So the pinwheel, Expos hat from back then. Again, good green under with the white gut. And there you see the logo again, the Centennial for the National League, All-Star, the All-Star. I got the All-Star on the mind. The Batterman on the back, which of course they didn't wear in 76, but again, copyright reasons, had to put it on the hat. And there's the Expos. So these next grouping here, these next 5, these were purchased off of Liz HD when they became available. And I was just making sure I got the ones I want. Boom, 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 boom in the cart. As soon as I saw them, it was like one of those, oh my God, I got to do this. Da, 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 da. You know, I was going kind of nuts. But anyhow, it worked out because I was able to get the ones I wanted. Atlanta Braves, 1976. I do have a few Atlanta Braves 1976 jerseys in the collection. So there's the hat that's going to go with them. There's the logo again on the side, which will be on the sleeve of those jerseys. Batterman. And again, you got the old school Atlanta Braves logo from what they wore circa 1976. You think, the 70s and the Braves, obviously you think of Hank Aaron and the record. But 715. But again, 76. So there you have it. Again, good green, white gut. There you go. We all know. There it is for the Braves. Then we got the San Diego Padres, another colorful hat here. San Diego, I have some 76 Padres jerseys, Dave Winfield and company. So got the hat to go with them. There it is with the 76. Now I do have a Padres jersey with, the hat with the 76 logo, but it's for a specific jersey. It's for the white Dave Winfield with the scripted Padres across the front. This one will go with it too, but it will also go with any of the other 76, Padres jerseys that I have. So there you have it. And I'm trying to think if I have any other 76 Padres jerseys. I'm not sure. So I have a lot of them from 78. Which was when they had the All-Star game there. My birth year. Good year. Up next, we have the Pittsburgh Pirates. And this is a jersey I forgot to bring downstairs. I just got this jersey in recently of the Dave Parker to go with. It has the logo. It's one of the more newer Mitchell & Ness baseball jerseys put out this year. I just didn't bring it down, but I have it, and it will be in a future vid, and I'll put the hat with it so you can see the combo wombo. But there is the Pirates with the 76, the Batterman, good green, white gut, we all know. There it is. Up next, I certainly have a lot of jerseys for this one. Cincinnati Reds, 1976, Big Red Machine Days. So it's got, that logo and the hat, the way kind of it looked in 76 with the logo on the side, the Centennial from the National League. Batterman, you know the dealio. We're all there with all the particulars. And there it is, big C on the front for the Big Red Machine. And last but certainly not least, we have the Chicago Cubs. I have a few 1976 jerseys for the Cubs. Bruce Sutter comes to mind. And was it like Steve Stone or something like that I have? But this is the Cubs hat that's going to go with them. Old school, which is still kind of what they were today. Hasn't really changed that much over the years. There's your regular Cubby hat right there with the Centennial Batterman there and all the particulars that we know. Red squatchy, boom boom, everything we know. I just love that. I've always liked that logo when it was on the jerseys, so now to see them on the hats was really cool. And a really nice set by Lids. Nice job by them to put these out. It certainly caught my eye. And certainly, not just thinking about it, jersey-wise, these hats go with jerseys. But I thought overall, it's just a clean set. It's an old-school looking set for baseball, all the old logos, the big logos and everything, the colorways. I just, I'm a fan of the old school stuff for baseball. So to see a set like that made was pretty cool, and I think it was cool. It came out this year, obviously the 50th anniversary of '76. So that's why they put them out this year. I get that, but it was a nice job, and obviously just having the jerseys for a decent amount was just icing on the top, for me. So there's that. All right, we got one more here. We got the unboxing. So when I get this from Fanatics, And I could not find, not that I looked too much, but I looked around enough. Rally House didn't have it. Certain other places didn't have it. The clubhouse store didn't have it at the ballpark at the time. They had the 5950 and they had the snap. But again, like I said, I love the 3930s and the flex fits. And I saw that Fanatics did have the flex fit available. And so, yep, that's what I ended up getting. And we have this year's All-Star Game hat, which, of course, we know where the All-Star Game is this year. It's in Philly. This is Bank Park, and this is what they're going to be wearing on their heads. This is the All-Star Game hat. It's not the 5950, it's the 3930, but this is the style they're going to wear. And you have the All-Star logo on the side, Philadelphia with the stars. And you have the copper eyelids. Kind of gives it a little bit of an old school look. And then the tonal squatchy. And on the back, you have the Batterman. You have a little gold trim going there. You got the stars. Now, it doesn't have anything about America, the 250. I thought maybe on the other side they could put that, but I guess they just didn't. But I think they might wear it on the jersey, but we'll see, because they're doing a big thing with that USA 250. Obviously, the Seahawks and Patriots wore it in the Super Bowl. Teams are wearing it for the 4th of July. So I'd imagine they'll probably incorporate it somewhere on the jersey for the All-Star Game. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. I don't know unless they put it on the front, maybe. Because I know usually for the All-Star Game, they put the one side has the All-Star logo and the other side has the team logo. So they might put the USA 250 on the front of the jersey. This is just me spitballing. I don't know. We'll see. But they got to put their team logo somewhere, which is who they represent in the game. But obviously National League, American League, but what team they play for, right? So, obviously they have it on their head, but they usually put it on the jersey somewhere unless they're not going to do it this year for the American 250. We'll see. For the USA 250, we'll see. Again, just spitballing. Who knows? I think the jerseys will come out this week because tonight they're gonna pick the starters for the All-Star Game, and then the reserves, I think, are next week or whatever. But so I would imagine what will probably happen is either tonight or next week you'll see the All-Star jerseys come out. And I'm already kind of licking my chops. At least I got to get one. Obviously, it's the game's in Philly. One of the Phillies, whoever it is, I don't know what player it would be. I got Schwarber last year. I actually got Wheeler last year. He didn't play in the game. It was just a regular Phillies jersey with the All-Star logo from Atlanta, which he didn't play in the game. But I got the batting practice Schwarber. So, I'll probably try to get at least a batting practice of one of the Phillies. Who, I don't know. Maybe it will be a player I don't have yet, like Christopher Sanchez could be. Maybe, something like that. Or Brandon Marsh if he makes a team, which I hope he does. Get his jersey. I don't have a Brandon Marsh, and, be his All-Star Game batting practice jersey. Or Sanchez, but we'll see, you never know. Just whatever I can get my hands on, I'm going to do. So, but I got the hat. I don't know if there'll be a different batting practice hat. Sometimes there is. So if they do something different, I know there's a different hat with like the Fanatic color green P on there. So that might be the batting practice. So if that's the case and they got a batting practice jersey, I can wear this with it, but I'll just grab the other hat too, just to have both of them at some point. But that'll be down the road. But this was a nice little surprise that it came in. I guess kind of fitting that it comes in on the 4th of July, though I didn't think anything would be delivered on the 4th of July. I thought it was a holiday, but obviously some people are working. Not I, but there are people working. But shout out to Fanatics. I got it yesterday because I was at the Rally House where I picked up that green Fanatic hat, and I couldn't find this hat in a flex fit, and I just said, I know I have one in my card on Fanatics, and I do have some fan cash to use, so I can get a little deal on it. And so that's what I did, and I ordered it right in the store before I checked out with the Fanatic hat. And then here we are basically a day later, and it shows up. It's like, really? Wow, that was pretty crazy, but you never know sometimes. That's Fanatics. right? You just never know what you're going to expect with them sometimes. Anyhow, oh my goodness, it's almost about a half hour until the festivities start on TV in Philly at the Parkway, the concert, the big concert, and then the fireworks. So many hours of 4th of July entertainment to watch here from my recliner next to me here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get myself ready, and then I just veg out with that stuff. But like I said, sorry it's been a minute since I had a video here on YouTube, but again, just been kind of crazy busy with stuff in a good way. I'm doing okay, doing as best I can with everything. It's just been a whirlwind of stuff. Shout out to all my good friends. And family and family obviously too. I hope everyone's having a wonderful 4th of July. I know my buddy Slim posted a video not long last week on YouTube, so make sure you check it out. You might see an appearance from me in there. But it's always good to see Slim posting a video on YouTube. I know he doesn't do it as much, but it's always nice to, for him to see something from him. And I was a part of the last one, so go check out his channel, sub to him if you haven't already done so. And he surprised me with some. He never ceases to amaze me with the things that he does. But it was a cool video, and yeah. So again, shout out to him, shout out to my buddy Mark M, shout out to my buddy Andy. Shout out to all my good friends out there, and hope you're all doing well. And it's weird. I just can't think of anything else to say, which a lot of you are probably relieved for, right? Let's be honest about that. This video is going to be under an hour, which is kind of rare for me. But I do have some other things to share. I've had some other pickups. I just we're going to just slow roll it. We're going to show them when we can. I got a couple things coming in the mail that I'm looking forward to, and I'll share them with you at some point soon. What else has been going on? A lot of stuff's been going on for our teams, boy. It's been a whirlwind of activity. I mean, the Sixers go ahead and get a new GM, and they want to make moves. So goodbye to Paul George and that terrible contract, and hello to Jaylen Brown. I still can't believe the Celtics. In a good way. I'm happy about that. But Jaylen Brown's a Sixer, and there's rumors. I mean, until it happens, I'm not going to believe it. But certain King might be looking at Philly, too, for a destination. Again, until it happens, I'm not going to buy into any of it. But it's still exciting. It's nice to know the Sixers are, they're making a resurgence here. I like their draft. I like Philon Jr. I like, obviously, the pickup of Jaylen Brown, who was a Finals MVP. Brings that winning attitude to the team, and it's been really good moves. They made some nice moves for the bench. I like the Anthony Simons move. Not to be confused with Dwayne Wade, but Dean Wade. I think was a nice move. Hey, you know what? You need guys like that on teams. You see these teams that win. Shout out to the Knicks. They won the championship, their first championship in over 50 years. See, those Villanova guys. See? Yeah. Some of us watched them when they were in college. So some of us knew what they were capable of doing. But no, they won. They had, role players finding their roles, the bench getting involved. That's what you need. You need total team, right? And the Sixers haven't had that in a while. So it's nice to see them, starting to put it together, and I'm excited. And if LBJ comes here, he comes here. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I can't, nothing we can do. But I'm happy that the Sixers seem to be turning a corner. And they seem to be going in the right direction. That's all we can hope for, right? The Flyers put out a huge offer sheet to Leo Carlson yesterday, which just shocked everybody. Like, really? Yeah, they did. Danny Briere was kind of playing possum there. We're sitting there going, Danny, We know you're coming off a year. You finally got in the playoffs, and we made a little noise. Don't stop there. Well, Danny decided to get involved. The Flyers decided to get involved, and they made a big offer to Leo Carlsson. Now, look, the Ducks have 6 days to match it. Maybe they do. He's a face of the franchise type of guy. He's a young kid, too. But if not, boy, that fills a need, doesn't it? A top center. We haven't had one of those, and it's been a minute. So if the Flyers can do that and get a young player, I mean, yeah, you're giving up 4 number 1 picks. But again, if you're a team with aspirations of going far in the playoffs over the next few years, draft picks, and the Flyers have a ton of young talent. It's not like they need the draft the next few years, right? They can do without some picks. If you get a guy like Leo Carlsson on a team, boy, and they're talking about maybe a reunion with Claude Giroux, depending on what happens with the Carlsson deal, okay, I know some people are complaining about his age. He still produces, particularly on the power play. And the Flyers' power play, I don't know if you've noticed, has not been very good, particularly since he's been gone. So maybe a Giroux reunion with Carlsson aboard, and maybe the power play actually starts to produce. Oh my! And yes, there's still some years away. Let's not right. Let's be honest, there's still going to be some years away, but you got to love the fact that, if anything else, even if the Ducks match it, they're being aggressive. They're trying to do something. And if they try to do that with Leo Carlsson, there's some other big names that are going to be out there. The Flyers are now proving that, yeah, we're going to be a player in this market now. So, other big name players, if it doesn't work out with Leo, well, maybe it works out with you. Come on down. We have money to throw. I love the aggressiveness. I do. I really do. It's a far gone from how the Flyers were doing things. And I understand why they were doing things, why they were doing them the past few years. But now that you dip your toes in the playoffs and you make a little noise, and yes, you have some young players, but you have some needs to still fit on the team, you got to do it. Don't just sit there and say, the draft. If there's players out there and you have the cognons to make moves, you make those moves. And that's what you do. Are they going to be up there with the Hurricanes and some of these other teams in the Eastern Conference? Maybe not right away, but they're building to it, right? And it took, let's not forget, it took 8 years. It took that Hurricanes team, as talented as they were, 8 years to finally win that cup. It takes time. It takes patience, but it takes being bold. It takes having a pair. And that's how the Hurricanes finally did it. And the Flyers, hey, look, it's going to take some years, but they're on that track. But you got to keep on that track, but they're on that track. And having the stones to make an offer to Leo, which, by the way, now Flyers and Ducks are becoming this thing. I don't know where it kind of just materialized. But now the Flyers and Ducks are like these, like, have this kind of little rivalry going. I don't know. But so trying to snag Leo Carlsson away from them, again, even if it doesn't work out, it shows a commitment. And as a fan, that's all I want to see my team do. Show me a commitment to winning. Show me a commitment. What do I always preach about the Eagles? Right? Even in years where they don't win, right? You're not going to win every year. But they show a commitment to winning. That's what they do. The Phillies in this, now, I'm not overly happy that they just want to run things back every year, it seems. But they're still going out, they're making moves, they're trying to, they're amongst one of the better teams in the league. They're showing a commitment to winning. It's the same thing now. The Sixers are getting there with the new ownership, the new GM and powers that be, the Jameer Nelsons and company that they have in place now. They're starting to show that. They're starting to get there, right? The Flyers starting to get there, starting to show that. As a fan, that's what you want. That's all you ask for. And now we're starting to get that. So now it gets to be exciting again. As much as I love my Birds, and God knows we do, I make that series every year here, the Season of the Fan for the Eagles, right? I love my Eagles, right? They were my first love here in Philly, and I always will love them. But I you know what? When all of our teams are doing well, and it's not very often that all of them do well at once, they kind of spread it out. But when all of them are going and the gears are moving and you get those juices going and these moves are being made and you're talking as one of the destinations for LeBron James and for trying to get Leo Carlson and getting Jaylen Brown and all that, that's exciting. And does it guarantee a championship? Absolutely not. But to know that now you're one of those teams, that you're one of those franchises who's going to go for it, who's going to make moves to better the team year after year and go for that title and try to win it, that's all I can ask for. Other than a title, which the Sixers have gone over. Not as long as the Knicks did, but it's 83 it's over 40 years. And it's been 25 years since we've been in the Eastern Final. We've been in the final. It's about damn time. And I think Jaylen Brown alone helps. But if you add to that, sky's the limit, to be honest. Sky's the limit. And there's still going to be very good teams. The Knicks are still, look, you always respect the champion. The Knicks are a defending champion. There's still going to be a hard out. That guy, Jalen Brunson, he's tough. Right? So we know it's going to be an uphill battle when you play them and some of these other teams in the East, right? But the Sixers are going to be part of the mix as long as they can stay healthy somehow, some way, which has been a big problem. And look, they're going to be in the mix, and that's all. As a fan, that's all I can ask for. The Flyers too. I'm not expecting a Stanley Cup next season, even if they land Leo Carlson or some other big name. If Leo doesn't work out and the Ducks go get him again, and that's their right if they do. Flyers are going to be a player. If anything else, Danny and the powers that be has showed that we got stones, and we're going to go after these big name players, and we're going to throw money at them, and we're going to try to win. And look, it's going to take time. It's going to take some years, but they're on that track, and that's what's been missing from here for way too damn long. And it's great to see them doing it. It's great to see the Sixers being aggressive, and it's great that look. I mean. That's all I can ask for as a fan. That's all I've ever asked for. And there's been too many years where it hasn't happened, and you get disappointed. And then you kind of get that stalemate and the same. You want to see progression. You want to see aggressiveness in off seasons. And we haven't seen that, for too long. So it's nice to see that with our winter teams, as well as it's always going to be that way as long as Howie is there and Jeffrey Lurie's owning the Eagles. It's always going to be that way for the Birds. They're going to be involved in different things. The Phillies, they're kind of handcuffed with what they can and can't do with some of the contracts they have, but they're going to be a player. They're going to be a player at the trade deadline. They're going to continue to try to better the team, to make a push in October, to make that run, get over that hump, and we'll see. And nothing's guaranteed. It just isn't. I mean, we've seen in sports how many times super teams not win, right? It's hard to win in sports. And we all know. But to do it, you need the players, you need the coaches, you need the front offices. And the most important is the front office. If you don't have that, it just doesn't matter. And I think we're in a good time right now in Philly. We really are. Because we have that. We know what we have in the Eagles. Everyone knows who we have right now in the Eagles. They're lock, stocked, and barreled, right? The Phillies, Dombrowski can be better. But I still think that their ownership is good, that they continually put, at least in the recent years, a good product on the field, not a losing product. I mean, we can talk about and split hairs about what they did or didn't do in the playoffs in recent years, but I go back and say, well, we had 11 straight years where we didn't make the playoffs, where the Phillies were not competitive, where they were a lot of those years in last place and laughable. So, to be involved for playoffs year after year, I'll still take it. And you know what? You have a chance. If you don't make the playoffs, you don't have a chance at all to win. You make the playoffs, you still have a shot until you're knocked out. So we'll see. And the story still has to be written for the rest of their season. But I see where they were before they let they let Topper go. And since Don Mattingly's been the manager, where they've gone since, they're 3 games behind Atlanta for first place in the division. And who thought at all we'd have any shot at the division like a month ago? So, look, they're going to be in the race. They're going to be – I do believe they'll make some moves at the deadline. We'll see if they're the right moves or not, but I do believe they're not going to sit on their hands. They know some of the things they need. They can't fix everything at the deadline, but I think they'll fix enough that there's still going to be a player, and they'll make October baseball. And you get in, as we saw in 2022, you just never know. You go on a run, Stranger things have happened, right? And for the Sixers and the Flyers, I just think right now we're in a good spot with them. I like the moves they made to better the front office, and so far it's paid dividends. Now, they have to do it on the court, but so far in the offseason, they've had a hell of an offseason, and the Flyers are showing that, no, we all this kind of slow roll, and we're going to speed things up a little now. and that's all I can ask for. So I'm glad to have ownerships that are aggressive. And I think aggressive in a good way, not a bad way, not a way to hurt the team, but to help the team. Anyhow, that's my diatribe on that. Now I've gone like 20 minutes on that, right? But it's an exciting time to be a Philadelphia sports fan, and we can't always say that. We've dealt with a lot of crap. A lot of crap. We still do. But I think we're in a good spot right now. We're all 4 teams, potentially, and there's that word potentially could be very exciting for now and for years to come. And that's, as a fan, that's all I can hope for. That's all I want. To be amongst the big boys, to be in that to have that opportunity to win titles, championships, plural, because it would be an awesome thing. It really would. I'm forever grateful for the Eagles for winning Super Bowls 52 and 59, for the Phillies in '08. Even those Villanova teams that now won with the Knicks. But you win. It's the greatest feeling in the world of being a sports fan, and I want more of that. I want that again for the Eagles and the Phillies, but I want to see that for the Sixers and Flyers. I haven't seen it yet. I was too young for the last time. I wasn't either not around in the Flyers case, or I was too young in the Sixers case. I want that title for those two teams, and I know it's going to take time, but I want that. I want that so badly, particularly I think for the Sixers because of how much I've been through with this team. I can read chapter and verse to you about the Sixers' futility over how many years, but you know what? Again, to be amongst those teams, it's a good feeling. And I love the addition of Jaylen Brown. I think he's going to help show some of the young guys like Maxey and Edgecombe and Philon Jr. and whoever else, the youth, what it is, and even some of the more elder statesmen like Joel, what it takes to win a championship, what you have to do to win a championship. He knows because he won, and he was a Finals MVP. So I think that's a great move by the Sixers to get him. I don't know what the Celtics were thinking. Let them suffer for some years. It's okay. That team has had more than their share of success. They can go away for a little bit of time. They won't. But they can step aside for a few years. It's okay. Boston, you've had your fun, and then some, and then some, and then some, and then some over the years. Your teams can, they could be a little down for a few years. It's okay. It's okay. Let us have fun. I know Boston fans watching this right now. No. Anyhow, that's going to do it for real now. Let's see, I've almost gone an hour now. I was done like 20 minutes ago and I started talking sports, and this is what happens. So I'm going to go for real now. But what do you always have to do? You have to hit the like button. Make sure you do so. Make sure you, if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. I'm still trying to get to 2K subs, and you can make that happen. Tell your family, tell your friends, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. The bell icon, where's the bell? We need a bell. The bell icon, it's kind of in the logo. You can see it. The bell icon, so you're notified to all future content from yours truly. You never want to miss it. You never know what it's going to be. It could be showing hats, jerseys, both. Talking sports, season of the fan with the Eagles coming up in another month or so. There could be guests here. We could have Slim, Mark M. You just never know. You never know. You don't want to miss anything. So hit that bell icon so you get alerted to all future content from yours truly. And I'm still going to make this video under an hour. I still went over 50 minutes, so I'm kind of at my average, but we're going to make it under an hour. All right, everyone, yet again, have a happy 4th of July. America 250. Happy 250th birthday to this great nation. And that is it for now. The festivities are about to start on TV. I got to go. All right, everyone. I'll see you all again soon. And have a great one.